Russia has been making U.S. headlines filled with allegations of stirring up public distrust ahead of November's presidential elections. Our correspondent, Gana Chichikyan, has the story.
Russia, if you're listening.
Pressure that Russia's putting on our European allies.
In friendship with Russia.
Russian intelligence services.
Russia.
Russian people.
Russia.
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 Hillary Clinton has persistently insinuated that the Russian president is trying to interfere in the U.S. presidential election and get Donald Trump elected. She and her campaign have suggested that it was Russia that leaked thousands of emails of the Democratic Party, which showed that the party used its resources to undermine Bernie Sanders in her favor.
Hillary Clinton's campaign has again accused the whistleblowing website WikiLeaks of collaborating with the Russian government.
The timing of this leak, what are you hearing from inside these campaigns?
Well, the Clinton campaign certainly believes that there's connection to the Russian government and that the timing is intended to embarrass them. I mean, this came out on the Friday before the convention started. They do expect that there will be more leaks and that it could go on for several more weeks, if not months.
Know is that these are hacked emails that were stolen by Russia.
Right. They haven't denied it.
What? Excuse me. Let's point out Russia's already been documented editing emails they released during the Democratic convention. And
She knew it just like the American people know
Megyn,
it, David.
The real outrage here,
that
and I'm
they
surprised
wanted to get away with
Megyn,
it. That's
Megyn,
why they didn't put it out there that she was using the
Megyn,
private server.
Can we stop embracing Russia's strategy of undermining our democracy by validating their emails and watching Donald Trump, in fact, embrace this effort to sabotage?
On it, but
Let's be clear about this. The fact that Russia is, in fact, undermining our democracy, trying to sabotage our election, and we're not talking about that Donald Trump is embracing Vladimir Putin's agenda.
And in fact, talk about the emails? Are you going to defend her or not?
No, because Megyn, you can't talk about the emails because you have no idea if they're valid. What we do know that's been documented is they've been edited.
For 10 years, Megyn, for 10 years, everything WikiLeaks has released has been accurate. For 10 years. There's no question about it.
And Russia doesn't spread false stories. David, Russia is, in fact, undermining our democracy. Russia is, in fact, undermining our democracy.
But you are very clearly quoting from WikiLeaks, and what's really important about WikiLeaks is that the Russian government has engaged in espionage against Americans. They have hacked American websites, American accounts of private people, of institutions. Then they have given that information to WikiLeaks for the purpose of putting it on the internet. This has come from the highest levels of the Russian government, clearly from Putin himself, in an effort, as 17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed, to influence our election. But increasingly, we are seeing cyber attacks coming from states, organs of states. The most recent and troubling of these has been Russia.
Russians. Let's not forget that these emails came from a hack from a foreign state entity, namely the Russians, that's been identified by the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI.
These emails, we have no idea whether they are authentic or not, or whether they've been tampered with once the Russians, which 17 American intelligence agencies say are responsible for these hackings.
These are connected to a Russian government propaganda effort to destabilize the election.
These are leaks that are being manipulated by the Russians.
The Russians are intervening in this election on behalf of Donald Trump.
WikiLeaks is part of that, as are other sites where the Russians...
The Russians have landed.
This whole danged island's under attack by Russia.
The Russian government.
The Russians are... And I know that the talking point from the Clinton campaign is this is the Russians trying to infiltrate.
The Russian government.
The Russians have captured the airport.
The Russian government has engaged in espionage against Americans. The Russian government, the Russians are coming! The Russians are coming!
The Russians are coming! The Russians are coming!
The Russian government. Russian aggression?
Russian aggression? What is she talking about?
Russia's hacked into a lot of things. China's hacked into a lot of things. Russia even hacked into the Democratic National Committee. Maybe even some state election systems.
And first off, we've got to have ourselves a leader. That's right. The Democratic way. That's the way I'd be for. Let's do it the Republican way. Have nominations and a proper election. But that might take time. So I'm going to suggest an alternate. Anybody wants to be leader ought to step up here right now.
Russia's actions are a problem. They don't pose the #1 national security threat to the United States. I continue to be much more concerned when it comes to our security with the prospect of a nuclear weapon going off in Manhattan. Russia's actions are a problem. They don't pose the #1 national security threat to the United States. I continue to be much more concerned when it comes to our security with the prospect of a nuclear weapon going off in Manhattan. Russia's actions are a problem. They don't pose the #1 national security threat to the United States. I continue to be much more concerned when it comes to our security with the prospect of a nuclear weapon going off in Manhattan. 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 In Manhattan. In Manhattan. In Manhattan.